Do you pull it off? Do you make America healthy again?
The failure is not an option. I run Medicare and Medicaid for the president.
And that's what, almost $2 trillion?
Yeah, my job is to figure out what would the president do if he knew what I know.
When did Trump reach out to you first?
2016 election.
Donald Trump says he is going to reveal his medical records.
Did he say he was in the best shape of any person in America?
He said all kinds of fun things.
I love that.
Gave me the records, right? I couldn't believe it. I have them. I started reading through it.
The American people need to know that people that work in the government actually give up a lot of their own rights for the American people.
It's a blessing to do it, but I'll tell you a good example of how this plays out. Yeah. So I gave a talk at a big conference, and a very prominent person who was running the conference gave me a beautiful knife as a gift.
Yeah.
It's just, you would never, it's one of those decorative knives.
Yeah.
And
it's not a.
No, but you can't take it.
Yeah. Wow.
You
can't take anything.
No, you can't take gifts. I don't even know. I think they capped at $20 or something. So maybe you can come and get your coffee. But this is actually, it's good because there's no temptation.
Yeah.
Like I can't get it inured by you. But hey, let's go visit my island paradise.
Right.
Do this or that. You're just not allowed to do it. So it keeps things quite clean. And also, it's not so much that there's an illegal action that would happen, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And you want the American people to very clearly understand that you're doing the right thing for the right reason,
right.
And you can't get your mind changed because someone does you a favor.
Yeah.
And so, but it does make your life a bit more puritanical.
Yeah. So I just want to bring the audience up to speed with what you told me on the outside before this. I said, why does President Trump like so many TV personalities? And you said to me,
well, because we're good at telling the story.
Yeah.
You got to carry the water, and either if you don't tell your own story, someone else is going to tell it for you, and they might not do it the right way. Plus, you have insights into your motivation. It's hard to judge people's motivation. You can judge their actions, but there's often a lot of things that go into making a decision in government. In my job, for example, we control about 1.7 trillion.
Tell everybody what you do in case they don't know.
I run Medicare and Medicaid for the president.
And that's what, almost $2 trillion?
Yeah, it's if you add everything else together, and that's under Secretary Kennedy, who runs all of health in the country. And part of what we're trying to do, what the president has anointed us to do, because remember, we're his ambassador in this area. So my job is to figure out what would the president do if he knew what I know about all these different parts, the drugs, insurance companies, the hospital systems, the needs of doctors. If he knew what I knew, what would he do? So I can channel him. And so the president figures, well, I think about the world in ways that overlap with him, Secretary Kennedy as well. And so as an example, the MAHA movement, which was so vital.
Make America healthy again.
And Make America Healthy Again works because it frees you to ask hard questions. At its very core, to me, MAHA means one word, curiosity. Now, you've been curious your whole life. I watch you at many different venues. And remember, 80%...
More curious than comfortable.
Perhaps. Maybe they go together. But here's the reality.
I don't think so. I think they're conflicting.
They can be unless you're comfortable with conflict. And
well, that's a good point. Oh my God, this is going to be such an intellectual conversation. I'm already moved now.
But I've always felt that 80% of questions are really statements in disguise. Most people really aren't curious about what you, Grant Cardone, think. So if I'm willing to sit still and get uncomfortable, and get comfortable being uncomfortable, I'll say some things to you, questions ideally, that you respond. Now, if I'm courageous enough to take that information because I'm curious, I wanted to hear it.
Truly curious.
So I'm not courageous enough to process it because it's uncomfortable what you're going to tell me. Because if it doesn't agree with my worldview, then obviously I got to change. And that's not easy for me or anybody else. And then you got to be compassionate to tell that story to others. And that's actually one of the biggest challenges that I have because I've learned a lot of things that are uncomfortable to know about. Fraud, waste, and abuse, which I've spoken a lot about. People stealing money from the American taxpayer, hurting beneficiaries, older folks on Medicare, folks who have had trouble in their life on Medicaid. And I want to protect these people. There's a plaque as you walk into our building where Secretary Kennedy and I reside, the Health and Human Services building, by Hubert Humphrey. That's who the building's named after. And he writes, it's the moral obligation of government to take care of those at the dawn of their life, the children, those at the twilight of their life, the seniors, and those living in the shadows. Now, Grant, that metaphor has always captured my attention of light. Because when you're in the shadows, life's difficult. And sometimes things look dark because you're in the shadow. And so how do we help you, give you a hand up, get you back on your feet again, get you back to working with society? Every great people, every great society has taken care of its most vulnerable. We're a great nation. We're going to do that as well.
Yeah.
To do that right, you've got to make some tough choices.
Are we doing that now?
The major challenge that we are running into is that Americans don't realize how much control they have over their destiny. They don't appreciate that if they're not healthy, it's really expensive to take care of them. And when you don't, I can't just take your kielbasa that you're about to enjoy and sprinkle a statin drug on it and hope it works, right? I actually got to get you to stop eating the junky food, the processed food. And I do want to talk about your worldview on this.
Yeah.
But it's not just the toxins you're putting in your mouth. It's the ones you're listening to, right? It's the stuff you're willing to believe in your head.
Yeah.
It's the inability to convince yourself that you're worthy of taking a physical activity seriously and realizing you could be a tuned-up machine and that you're given by God all kinds of graces that you should be able to enjoy and take advantage of. So much of what we're trying to do in this administration is reminding you of the power, the agency you have. So let me turn this back on you. If I had to ask you, what is the Make America Healthy Again movement?
Well, I think the statement by itself, the title is very, very important. Like what you said to me about President Trump says, hey, he picked people in TV because obviously they're proving themselves, their ability to tell a story. I think Make America Healthy Again immediately tells me that's the goal. Like without the big goal, the big giant goal, to me, the target is 80 or 90% of the whole accomplishment. It's like, do I have the right target? And to me, if America, why would America be a wealthy nation, better educated, or at least has availability of education and not be the healthiest?
Well, actually, you can't be a wealthy nation if you're not a healthy
That's
nation.
Right. And wealth and health are completely combined from the 1700s. The word wealth meant H-E-A-L, to heal.
To heal.
And that's where the word came from. And my belief is you cannot actually be wealthy without health. And you're probably not healthy if you don't have wealth. And you need them both. You need the money. And that's why I was so excited about Trump, because he has the money piece down. And the fact that when he brought Robert Kennedy in, he says, and yourself, and he says, hey, I want to make America healthy as well. I was like, dude, you do those two things and this country's. So that's what it means to me. One is an awareness. Two, I think about the 1950s when all the kids were healthy. Yeah. There was no obesity. I was eating sugar as much as I wanted, as often as I wanted. I could still do it today. I can eat cookies. I eat stuff that nobody else can eat. And I remember there was a time in America where we could all do that, but something changed in the food system.
Oh, for sure. We've got 3 times more obesity in this country since I was born. Yeah. By the way, I just joined Medicare. I turned 65 this year.
Yeah, but look, man, I hope I look as good as you when I'm your age.
He's insulting me. You see that? Like a backhanded compliment.
No, I do.
Many years from now, when I'm your age.
Okay, in the comments, who looks better? Okay, who looks better? Because we're close in age. You look awesome, man.
Well, God bless you for saying that. But 60 years ago, when Medicare was created, there was a very clear vision of what it represented. And it was the first patient, by the way, was Harry S. Truman.
Wow.
Because he wanted to have some mechanism to help seniors who are, so they wouldn't be destitute. Because most bankruptcies in America.
This was about money back then, though. It was more about funding the later retirement, right? I mean, the late years, the twilight.
The twilight. It was important because people.
It wasn't about fixing the food system or the fraud and the abuse and all that.
Because they ate real food in 1965, right? They ate food that, when it came out of the ground, looked the way it looked when you ate it.
Right.
It never crossed their mind to process food the way we have and to change the respect of what humans always have had, the reverence we've had for food. Food's sacred. It's medicine. It's going to be in your body and do all kinds of incredible things we'll talk about in a second. But if you don't respect that challenge you have every day when you make a decision about what to put in your mouth, and don't appreciate that, you may think the world's out of control, and that's, I think, true for a lot of folks. You gain weight, but the only thing you control is the fork at the end of your arm, so you use it. But that's not the right way to think about food. It's not some satiating substance to solve your pain. Mm-hmm. And listen, processed carbs are incredibly effective. They hit your brain like crack cocaine. They will calm you down. They are truly comfort foods.
Now, you knew a lot of this before this journey with President Trump, right?
Well, my show, which, the show had 10 Emmy Awards for informing
and
people.
An Emmy Award winner. Man, I don't think I've ever been in front of an Emmy Award winner, too.
But the show worked because we were honey badgers about this stuff. We just went after it. When we saw things that we knew were harmful to people, and by the way, it ranged from drug pricing to to foods that were clearly harmful to you, to substances you shouldn't be putting in your body, a lack of activity, poisoning your brain. I mean, all of this was part and parcel of what our show talked about every day. But what really changed my heart in many ways was talking to viewers, talking to people who had their lives changed by what we were talking about and having them tell the stories because they can tell it better than me. Listen, I've never been someone who's addicted to drugs in any capacity. So if I'm telling you about addiction, good for me that I haven't had it. A lot of that was my upbringing, but I also can't really personalize it and talk to them. Like Secretary Kennedy, you talk about these problems with him, he goes to AA every day. We vacation together, spend a lot of time together. He goes to AA in the morning before all the other things that we're doing.
Wow.
So if I want to talk and learn about this problem, I want to hear from someone like him.
Right.
Because he's been there.
Right.
He's been to the dark side. He's been to the shadows, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, how do you figure out, there are many people who will accept everything you're saying now, but they won't take action towards that goal.
Yeah.
So what do you say to somebody who realizes that they should be making different choices, but just doesn't seem to be able to get it done today? Maybe tomorrow they'll try.
Just say, hey, maybe catch me when you're ready, man.
Yeah, but 70% of people are pre-contemplative. They're not ready to change.
Yeah, that's right.
So how do you wake them up to be like the other folks who are at least trying to change because they realize the life they're living now isn't the life they're put on earth to live?
I think, hey, catch me when you're ready. Catch me when you're ready. Look, I have a drug history. So I spent 9.5 years trying to get off of drugs, almost 10 years. And I tried to quit every day. And I didn't quit until I was ready to quit.
What made you ready?
Just a series of things. I mean, I think I had to quit every day for 9.5 years. And then, boom, finally it worked.
So what was rock bottom? Even though
it was many. There's no rock bottom. There's a bottom, but below the bottom, below the bottom, below the bottom. There's a bunch of bottoms. And then I don't even know if I hit the final bottom. So I just know that one day I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm like, and I didn't just get sick of that condition. I wanted this other thing. I wanted this other life. I wanted the life I have now more than I wanted that life. And I think that's why MAHA interests me, is because America needs to wake up that it's sick. We're a sick country. And I think MAHA is so important. And all my friends out there, all my influencer friends, you guys need to maybe do interviews with more people that have impact online, because MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, is a real deal. This is not a MAGA movement. This is not a political thing. It's a health thing.
Yeah,
and back to 1965 when Truman was putting this in place, America wasn't sick.
Yeah.
It couldn't fund, if I'm right, and I'm just being with you, I get more intelligent. I've become more intelligent around people that are intelligent. I do. Do you know?
Of course you do. But the best part of my job.
And I get healthy around people that are healthy.
That's why women, when they marry men, gain weight, because we don't take care of ourselves usually. But men, when they get with women, get healthier. So when you hang with people, you become more like.
Exactly.
And by the way, it was President Johnson who signed the Medicare law.
Okay.
But he recruited prior President Truman to be the first patient.
Oh, wow.
Because Truman was already 65 years of age.
Wow.
And so to have two iconic presidents realize that this was an opportunity to help America speaks to the power and the beauty of this social fabric that we've created, the safety net that we have, but we cannot abuse it. And by not taking care of yourself and assuming the hospital system will fix it. By the way, where does the word hospital come from? From hospice. People went to hospitals to die until 100 years ago. Only recently have we seen this.
That's crazy. I did not know that that's where it came from.
You're teaching me about health and wealth. I thought I'd reciprocate.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was good. So back then, though, okay, when you went to the hospice, it was to die.
Back in 100 years ago.
Okay, so in 1965, the issue was really, we weren't a sick country yet. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
But we couldn't fund the elderly.
We ran into problems because a lot of people didn't have savings. And so And what's the number one cause of bankruptcy? A health problem. Given today,
lack of money to solve the health problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But also, you go into bankruptcy when you're sick. Listen, the oldest hospital in the world is a hospital in Cairo, Egypt. 1,000 years ago, when you got sick, when they sent you home, they gave you money because they knew you'd been sick. Therefore, you had spent all your savings. So to get you back on your feet, they literally put money in your hands. You wouldn't be a beggar. Wow. So we actually take all your money away and say, good luck to you. People, right now in America, people have to choose between pharmacies and prescription drugs. This is America. You should be able to take the medications to stay healthy and also buy your groceries. But what I'm trying to say is, even before you have to make that tough choice, if we can get you to make the right grocery decisions, and respect other things you may be doing wrong in your life, we might actually be able to stretch the money we're spending. If we're spending already almost $2 trillion just in social programs, I mean, insurance programs run by Medicare and Medicaid, SHIP, which is health insurance for kids, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, so that's a lot of money. All that together is, hurting our economy. But I'll give you the bigger number that you should resonate to.
Yeah.
1964, there were people who are watching right now who were born. On average, they're going to retire this year at age 61. If we can get only the people born in 1964 to work 3 years longer, Grant, that's $1 trillion to the U.S. economy. The productivity of Americans is so great. I get that one age group.
Do you think Americans resonate with that part of this calculation, though?
No, because they think they're tired, they're exhausted, they've been working their whole life.
Yeah.
I'm saying, guys, your best years are ahead of you.
I know, but I don't think anybody's going to get healthy because of that.
I don't know if they will get healthy, but I do know there's many people who, if they are healthy, will elect not to retire. I don't need them all to work 3 years longer.
Right.
I just want to say, as a nation,
so if they're still getting up, they're still energized, they're focused,
and we're having less babies.
Yeah,
we got twice as many jobs as people want to do them.
Yeah,
America is great for many reasons, but one of them is we work.
Yeah.
So get America back working again, and one way to get more people working is to let them work more years if they want. There's some jobs you may not want.
Well, if I feel good, I do want to work.
Of course.
It's when I don't feel good that I don't want to go to work, and I'm not winning.
So let me go back a little bit to your story. You talked about substance abuse. How important was the loss of your father when you were young?
I mean, it was one, I lost my dad. When you lose your dad, you look for another dad. So I waited for my uncles. I waited for a guy like you to show up. Hey, man, show me the way. It could have been a neighbor. It could have been an uncle. And they didn't show up. They had their lives, their problems. Looked for the teachers to do it. The teachers can't do it. The teachers are teaching. I only got 40 minutes with them or 50 minutes. I'm in a class I don't even want to be in. And, I hear a lot of communities talk about, I need a mentor. You already have plenty of mentors. There's too many mentors. There's too much information. So Danny, the local drug addict, said, I'll be your daddy.
Wow.
And then that was the, okay, teach me something. And that was the thing. I smoked some weed with my brother and Russell and another dude. And within 12 months, I was using drugs every day. Kid that went from never using anything to just flip the switch. From a good kid, middle-class family, 5 kids. My mom was my best friend. Good grades, just right off the cliff. And that would happen go on for the next 10 years. Now, but there was this, I don't really think it's a drug problem, okay? I think it was I was bored. I would have done anything if you would have given me dance classes. I mean, you could have introduced me to anything that would have been better than this vacuum I was in. That gave me something to do, I would have clung on to it. So, because once I learned about money and business, then I basically replaced the old addiction. Somebody said I was 25 or 26 years old, and I went from being a drug problem for 18 hours a day to working 18 hours a day. And they said, oh, you just replaced the addictions. And I'm like, okay.
The one's more socially acceptable, productive,
and one's a little better for me too.
Your mom in this process, and something I tell my kids all the time, which is the kids that you're doing everything for are not going to treat themselves the way you treat them.
Yeah,
they're going to treat themselves when they grow up the way you treat yourself. And I think for a lot of parents, if they don't realize that, they'll raise kids who will sacrifice everything for the next generation, not realizing if they're not healthy, they actually can't be there.
Yeah, my mom, I think, my mom she buried her head in the deal. She had to know I was using drugs. There was no way she didn't know. And I don't think she confronted the issue. That being said, she was a great mother. She's a phenomenal human being, my best friend. She couldn't have stopped me, but she could have intercepted and confronted the problem earlier and kicked me out. That's what she should have done. When she finally kicked me out, it was over. It was literally within 3 weeks I was in a treatment center. So, but she was trying to do too many jobs. A mom can't be a dad. I'm a great dad. I'm probably one of the best dads in the world. I'm a terrible mother.
Yeah.
I'm an awful mother. I have no interest in their safety. Really, I do, but I don't, I want to push the kids. And I'm just not a good mother. So I don't know that my mom could have changed anything. I know not having a dad, you can look at all the metrics in any community. When there's no dad present, suicide rates go up, incarceration rates go up. dropouts go up, drug addiction, everything. Just, and that's why Make America Healthy Again, to me, is like, it's a much bigger thing than just food.
Oh, for sure. Food is a surrogate for your ability to change the world outside of you. In fact, the reason I tell most folks, whether I'm trying to get them to stop smoking or some other substance, or if they're eating right, the first thing you should do is get walking or exercise in some capacity, because I'm not taking something from you, I'm giving you something.
Right.
So what is your routine? I've seen different versions of it, but in practice, like this morning,
I worked out today.
I'm sure.
So I have a little injury going on right now. So I'm like, get down there and do it no matter what, bro. Like, people used to tell me, hey, don't do more than 3 days or 5 days. I have to do every day. If I don't do every day, I'll end up doing no days. So I try to do it every day. And if I could get 2 in a day, I would.
Wow.
But it's like the cardio's to warm up, and then I do weights.
How long total?
An hour.
People can spare an hour out of their day most of the time.
No, you will later. You will later. You won't when you're 20, but you will when you're 65. If you want your knees and your hips and your hands and if you want to energize. I'd like to. I don't care if I live till I'm 110. If I can't work, I don't want to live. I have no interest. I want activity. I don't want to be on vacation all the time. I very much relate to President Trump working 20-hour days. I know the guy's a beast.
Oh, he is.
And I admire that. Like to me, that's a tremendous example. All the commitment, some of what I don't even understand you guys make when you go into government office, the commitment you make.
Yeah.
Like, I just so much appreciate your willingness to set your life aside and go do that for the American people, knowing there's a 50-50 chance that you can't even pull it off. Do you pull it off? Do you make America healthy again?
Yes. The failure is not an option.
Yeah.
One of the things doctors have to do.
Kids start exercising again. Are we going to get that? Can we get that in the school system?
For sure. These are all the things we're going to do. But by the way,
tell me what we're going to do.
So I've been involved in high schools around the country for 20 years. My wife and I started a big foundation. We raised $100 million. One of the things we do is we put mentors in schools.
I donated to this.
You donated to us. You're very kind. God bless you. And we're all over the country. But I'm just saying that because we have experience doing this, and I know it's achievable. But you actually have to get into the schools with a crowbar and open them up.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't.
So why would I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm so curious about this. Why would the school system, when did that get dropped out? When you had to do pull-ups.
Okay, so President Kennedy, Bobby's uncle, started a physical fitness
John
Kennedy.
Okay.
Started, this is back in the early 60s, a program that would test you. So could you touch your toes? Could you climb up a rope? Push-ups, sit-ups, all that kind of stuff. And the test was there, the president's physical fitness test, because in order to do it, you had to actually exercise. And kids back then went out. What did your mom say when you were a kid? Go out and play, be back by dark.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't do that anymore. No. Structured play, they're watching you, they're helicoptering. They still go outside, be back by dark, and then I'll spank you if you're late.
Yeah.
That was the message I got pretty much to get out of my parents' hair. So we need to get kids playing again, engaging. We learn a lot through that process. So we will get there. But what happened in the school system, and I was on the President's Council for Sports Fitness and Nutrition, the first administration, just got announced again. I'm going to drag you into this process because you'd be great at it.
2016.
I was 2016. I was put on the council or whatever in the first administration.
Yeah.
2017.
Okay.
I learned something really important. We didn't have coaches anymore because when they started cutting back on funding and putting emphasis on all the sciences, which is fine. I'm a scientist. I want people to learn science, but coaching is important. I played sports all season in high school. I played college football, water polo. I had coaches who taught me so much about life in different ways.
Yeah.
They weren't the only person who taught me, but they were pretty important. And those messages about the basics that we talk about, so like they're trite because they're so self-evident, like how do you get up when you fall? And, the basic ways you message to yourself. Like, for example, and I think you probably do this with your kids. I met your beautiful daughter. And I've said the same to my kids. I never tell them they're smart. Because if I tell them they're smart and they do something dumb, that means they're not smart. So they actually will not tell the truth. I say, if you work hard, you can do whatever you need to do in life.
I like that.
That you control your destiny, but you have to control also whether you take advantage of it.
Yeah.
No one's going to hand that to you.
Yeah.
But what a coach says. He doesn't say you're the best quarterback ever. Says, if you work at this every day, you can be a world-class quarterback. And if you fail, it's because you didn't work at it every day.
Yeah.
Puts the pressure and responsibility and the opportunity back on your shoulders. We need to do that for young people in America. They resonate to that challenge. That's why so many young men have come across, I think, to think about what the president's been talking about in a very different way. We want you to understand that is actually an obligation that you have, because you know what? Deep down, you know it.
Yeah.
And if I say you don't,
Everybody knows the truth.
Then
I agree.
they know we're lying.
Yeah.
If you tell them the opposite of that.
That's right.
Within the school system, you need to message that. I am confident that the Make America Healthy Again MAHA movement will work, because it's the right time, the right place with the right messengers. The president's excellent at talking about this. Much of his message about the country is along those lines. You put your family first, you put your country first.
Yeah.
Don't, take care of others as well, but make sure you're in a good place first. Secretary Kennedy is the avatar for this. I mean, he is really strong in front of, with a lot of controversy. Everyone's coming at him. He knows he's doing the right thing, so he's undaunted by that, and people respect that. It's not easy. If it was easy, it wouldn't have happened. There are lots of moneyed interests that don't want to change.
Yeah, but it used to be here. Like, we used to be, when I went to school, we had 1 hour. Well, I had a coach. He chastised me. That's all I remember. He was not nice to me.
Yeah.
But I think that was kind of good for me.
Probably.
And we had to run, had to do pull-ups, had to do sit-ups, had to run in place. I remember all that stuff. I didn't like any of it, but nobody was obese. It was a rare situation to see somebody overweight. Fast forward today, it looks like the obesity is in the kids.
But 3/4 of young Americans, males especially,
3/4
cannot serve in the military. They're not physically able to. Because weight, other physical ailments, problems that have come up in their lives. We're searching aggressively for why we've made it so easy to be sick in America. But to your point, a lot of moms, and that moms are the heart of MAHA. They're out there saying, hey, it's really hard for us to raise healthy families. It's not just our fault.
Right.
So help me with the environment, whatever toxins are getting in our lives. We built a sedentary experience. The foods that we're giving our kids, most foods processed.
Yeah.
Your body it's an away game for your body. This is why I always tell people, just to challenge them, I'll say, a nut. Just take a simple nut. You gain weight if you eat nuts. Well, on the surface you say it's got a lot of calories, so I'll gain weight. Grant, every clinical trial ever done on people who eat nuts show they lose weight. Why? Because nuts are baby trees, right? They're rich in nutrients. Your brain,
I've never heard that.
but they are. Your brain is not looking for calories, it's looking for nutrients.
Right.
You give me nutrients, I will stop eating. You take a soda pop, I got the calories.
I want more.
I didn't get nutrients. Give me an artificially sweetened soda. Now it's worse. Now I've tricked my taste buds to think they're sweet. My brain says, I'm not dumb.
Right.
You didn't drink anything with sugar in it. You just reminded me that I want sugar. So those folks have more metabolic syndrome, which is the problem you have with metabolizing sugar in your body, which is why we have done things within our food supply, within the way what we are willing to tolerate in our lives, that have made it so much easier to be fat that we have gained weight. So we're at 43% obesity now in America. That's more than twice Europe, 10 times more than Japan. So guess what? We're a heck of a lot more expensive. We're more than twice as expensive per capita.
We're richer, but we're sicker.
And our death rate, our longevity is going the wrong way. When we were young men, our life expectancy was equal to Europe. Now we're about 4 to 5 years behind Europe.
Wow.
We're shorter in our life expectancy, less length of life. So we got to pull up fast.
Yeah.
And so you never want to waste a crisis. President has completely embrace this. Obviously, Secretary Kennedy's been talking about this for years. It was the core of my show. There's a lot of other people coming to roar the oars with us. This is bipartisan. Everyone agrees we've got problems. But there are people who do make money on the other side of this equation. That's one of the reasons that the world has changed. It's become very profitable to corporatize some of these issues. And if you privatize profits...
There's money in keeping people sick.
Yeah, you socialize the costs, right? Because the costs are the healthcare system being expensive. So everyone pays for that, not the company that makes you sick. But you privatize the money you make from selling stuff that doesn't actually help your body do better. And so the challenge for MAHA is not just to lament the fact we're here, but to fix it. So physical activity is one of them. You go to the blue zones where people just naturally live a long time, right?
They smoke, they drink, they eat whatever they want.
Yeah, but a couple of things. They do drink in some, like in Sardinia. They drink.
I was in France recently and in Sardinia.
Yep.
Everybody's smoking. And they outlive us.
But so I'll just share a little tip that I think might be a pro tip for you.
Okay.
There's nothing healthier than having a good time with friends. So if you're having a little bit of wine, which is what they drink in Sardinia, with a bunch of other 85-year-olds, and talking about life and ribbing each other, you're going to live longer because the effect of, you're not getting, fall over drunk. It's a social lubricant. I would never tell someone to drink, but if you're drinking to be with others, and if you're having, alcohol for breakfast, you've got a problem.
Of course.
But if you're having some fun with your friends, you're not chain smoking, and having a cigar here and there, I think that is a defensible thing to do. The major challenge for us is to combine all these things because it's a lifestyle, not one thing. So I'll give you a couple examples, and I want to push to you. So physical fitness, for example, they just.
I love this. I could just sit here and I want to know what's going on with MAHA. That's what I want to know.
What MAHA needs is as many people like you saying, "This is what I stand for. This is what I do. I'm going to go out there and make it easy for you to do it as well." So on the activity side, and I've heard you speak to this publicly. Listen, you can belong to a really expensive gym. By the way, we got some great gym owners like Jim Worthington, who's near where I live in Philadelphia. They want to open up their gym to new conscripts to the Army. If you're going to go to boot camp, come work out for free.
Wow.
If you maybe kids over the summer when gym membership is not as crowded, maybe kids in high school can get to go to the gym for free and work out and get in shape so they can see what it's like to be in a healthy environment. But the most important thing you do is go outside and play and run and shoot around and walk. That is like a fundamental part of what life has historically been. And rigorous daily activity is core to these blue zones. Do you do that?
Yes, I do. I probably don't walk enough. My wife and I go for a walk every morning.
Oh, good. What do you talk about?
What do we talk about on that walk? She's probably talking to me about what I have to go do today.
Perfect.
And she tells me, go win, go kill stuff, go bring back another victory.
So
that's what she does. She's the dreamer and I'm the doer.
So in your household, if Elena's the prosecution, does the prosecution ever rest?
Well, the prosecution, no, it never rests. I think you're talking about your household, though.
Same.
So, yeah, exactly. So, but at my household, it's like, I remember I came home one night. This is a true story. I came home. We were living in Los Angeles at the time. And she's like, how was your day? I said, it was a shitty day. It was terrible. She's like, why'd you come home? She's like, I can't change this. Yeah. Which, by the way, she was right. Yeah. I had to change my day. Yeah. So I literally went back to the office, did a couple deals, and came home. Well, and then we made a baby.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. That's the best way, But see, what you just brought up, I think, is important for the MAHA movement because physical activity is part of it. I think it helps a lot of people. I'm like this. You might be as well. It centers me for the day. The one thing I know I control is the first few minutes of my day. So even if it's 20 minutes of yoga or, running, bicycling, swimming, I do something to get me going. So I know at least I accomplished something that I had autonomy over. And then I go off and engage the war of the day. You have talked about your relationship with Elena. So you have feedback ongoing, which is emotional support.
Yeah, I got two young kids. They keep me going.
They
too.
Also.
That's always good.
You probably celebrate around food a little bit. So what's a typical?
No, not really.
Well, what do you eat typically?
I eat anything I want.
No, you don't. If I gave you a pastrami over there, you probably pass it off.
If they brought me those cookies over here, I would eat them right now during the interview.
They're not here.
They bring the cookies.
No, don't bring the cookies. Don't bring the cookies.
Bring the cookies. No, but
where are the raw vegetables and the hummus?
Oh, all that's over there. All that's there.
So what do you normally eat?
I literally eat almost anything I want.
What time do you start eating in the morning?
Sometimes I'll fast. Sometimes till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know that I'm actually believe the fast.
He's chumming the waters.
Dude, these cookies are beautiful. Look.
He's chumming the waters.
There's nothing like a good chocolate chip cookie.
There's no nutrient in there. So you'll enjoy it going down, but the guilt is going to consume you for the rest of the day.
It will not consume me. It will not, because I'm going to take care of it.
Let's get to the reality of making it easy to do the right thing. When you open your fridge, what's in there?
It's the left side's all fruits and vegetables.
All right.
I mean, it's slammed.
Good.
I mean, I look rich when you open the door.
Right. And you have a lot of...
that's always been a dream of mine, to open a full refrigerator.
Yeah.
No leftovers.
All right.
No Ziplocs, just fresh food.
Real food.
Real food, organic food.
Well, that's...
I remember when I couldn't afford any of that. And everything was Ziplocs and everything was leftovers, because every time we ate, the message from my mom was, eat it all.
Yeah.
Eat it all. Eat it all. And that's a problem, by the way, in this country. Eat it all. Mm-hmm. And the other problem was, if you can't eat it all, save it for tomorrow. I'm like, fuck, I didn't want it today. Why am I going to want it tomorrow? But my mom was operating out of scarcity all the time.
Yeah.
And I think the scarcity around money also became the scarcity around food.
Sure.
And this thing starts like, eat more. And so now we have poor people that are obese, when that used to be the rich people were the only obese people.
See, I think a lot of...
So let me just finish this. And on the right side is all the meats. Whatever I'm going to eat or cook is on the right side.
So where's the processed food in your fridge?
Oh, it's in the pantry.
Do you have processed food, really?
We have some, yeah. Yeah, it's junk.
But
we know it's junk.
Yeah. So it's a treat or is it a staple? I mean, you guys...
It's a treat. It's totally a treat.
Yeah.
It's a treat.
I think healthy households do what Alita does. They find a way of making it easy to do the right thing. So if we put soda pop in the front by the fresh fruit, you're going to grab that.
I can't even find them in my house. And I grew up on them.
Well, now, why is that?
Because they're not available. They're just not available.
Did you make a proactive decision? I'm not going to put soda pop out there because I know it's not good, so why would I bother?
It's not good for me, yeah. So I want to see if it's easy to get to. I get weak like the cookies. I'm going to be strong because you're strong. Now, let me ask you this, because I keep waiting for this to happen. I think this is going to be a brilliant idea. When it happens, it's going to change everything for MAHA and for the country. Miss Gnomes.
Yep.
What's her first name?
Christy.
Yeah. So they ran the big ad. I don't know what they spent on that ad. But the first time I saw the ad, I'm like, when is MAHA going to do that? When is there going to be $10 million spent on an ad? PBS should be government subsidized, or it should be provided by Amazon, and Netflix should be forced.
Yep.
There should be a MAHA ad, something really compelling. Netflix would sponsor it. Amazon would sponsor it. All the networks would get behind it. Trump could sell this deal.
Yep.
Make America healthy again, and we're going to get the best condition of your life. And that would be an ad run every day on TV.
So we started running some ads for the first time this month.
Okay, good.
Part of it is testing what actually works most effectively. Here's a couple of things I've learned after hosting a show for.
I want to be in that ad. I want to be a symbol and example of 67 years old and taking care of yourself.
We're going to drag you out now and make you the star of it. You can be the face of the movement with us. Part of it is you don't want to shame people. You want them to feel empowered by what you're messaging to them.
Yeah.
And I actually believe that it's a patriotic duty to stay healthy in America.
Yeah, I do too.
Since I'm the guy who's got to pay the bills right now for our health care
double defense.
Double defense.
Yeah.
We can help our country both by not spending money on conditions that should be managed in your... Listen, you should win the battle for health in your kitchen, your living room, your bedroom.
Yeah.
And that is a very clear message we want people to hear. If you think you're going to solve in the ER or in the hospital ICU, they're there. And there are going to be some people who are going to need that care, but that shouldn't be the default. That's the default.
Yeah. So the concern is that people will be shamed in it.
Yeah,
they're going to feel bad. They're going to.
We want this to lift you up. We want to psych you up. These ads should be pep talks to you. Get out there and change the world. God put you on this planet to make a difference. Have agency over your future.
Yeah.
Go out there and prove to people around you.
Yeah. What would the call to action be?
Call to action is control your destiny. Automate your home.
Like
so
that.
The food is the food you want to have. You don't put soft drinks in there because unnecessary temptation. Why would you? We're all frail. We're all human.
Yeah.
You don't put pornography on the TV as your default.
Yeah.
Right? You should never be able to find it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's going to get watched.
That's right.
So and it's not just the food you're putting in your mouth.
Yeah.
What are we feeding your eyes? What are you actually consuming visually and digitally? What are you hearing? What are the stories we're telling you? One big issue that I think the president's absolutely right about this for the 250th anniversary next year is we got to tell our people the right stories about our country.
Yeah.
We're a great nation.
Yeah.
When my father came to this country as an immigrant.
Yeah. What's your nationality?
Turkish originally. He saw America as the shining city on the hill that Reagan described. He just saw it decades earlier because that's when he came here. He couldn't believe America existed.
Right.
You actually can come here and compete and succeed.
Well, that's what the immigrants see today.
Today's immigrants do, but we keep telling folks it's not true. Why does everyone want to come here then?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, they all want to be here.
Why do they come here and do so well here?
Yeah, because they work hard. They realize, my gosh, I had
opportunity. They see the opportunity.
They create opportunities for themselves. And there's a great study talked about people who are good luck and bad luck people. And I always tell this to folks when they think they're down on their luck. They took people who are self-proclaimed good luck and self-proclaimed unlucky people. And they said, go over and walk to that store and come back. And along the way, they put a $100 bill on the ground. The lucky people find the money. The unlucky people don't.
Right. They're not looking for it.
They're not looking.
Can't see if you don't look.
Exactly. So your eye can see thousands of hues.
Yeah.
But you got to open them and look up and see something.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think we have made that message clear. And I think that is a major cultural divide right now. And you get people to realize that, we'll avoid the catastrophe that's happening in other countries where they didn't realize it in time. In America, we still have people believe the American dream. I look at in the Oval Office, the president, who's done a fantastic job decorating. By the way, it's a sacred place.
I haven't been there. You got to give me. You got to give me an invite.
But he really has done a beautiful job putting up the pictures of the presidents and putting gold inlay. I mean, really done a nice job. But the thing I treasure the most behind this curtain, just to the right side of the Resolute desk, is the Declaration of Independence. And when you look at that, the original parchment and the ink that these wonderful men, 250 years ago, roughly, signed, you begin to appreciate how special, but how fragile we are. This is a piece of parchment, words on a page that hold us together, unite us. We have to preserve that. We've got to elevate it. We've got to remind people, we're not just speaking to you as a member of our country, just talking to you individually. This modernist movement at the time was all about the fact that you mattered.
Yeah.
Within you, just by the fact God
I'm
made you.
I'm getting moved right now by you talking to me like this.
That's the message of the MAHA movement.
Yeah, and that's what I think. I want to do a better job of making sure my audience knows what MAHA is good up to, what some of the successes of the first 6 months have been, because I know you guys are making moves.
Huge, and the Secretary's been on the forefront of this. Food dyes,
but it's hard to see it when I'm watching Putin yesterday. That grabs all my attention.
Yeah, well, much of this is just, roll up your sleeves, go down to the mine.
Yeah.
It's dark, dingy, but it's the work's got to get done, and that's what you should do.
Yeah.
So, we're not looking for acclaim. Bobby does all kinds of things that are done behind the scenes to get manufacturers to change what they're going to do.
That's happening.
But that's the thing. The president has the power to convene. He's given us the ability to call companies together and speak honesty to them.
Yeah.
Listen, I came out of the private sector. Folks,
How much pushback are you getting?
oh yeah, pushback's part of it. This is contact sports. I always tell my team, and I got the best team in the world at CMS, Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services.
How many employees?
You have 6,500 employees roughly, but we also have 40,000 contractors. So it's a big team. But these folks are mission aligned and they're hardworking. But I always tell them that I'm a heart surgeon. And government is a bloodier game. It's a bloodier battlefield than heart surgery, because there are so many ways you can get cut.
You did heart surgery.
I've been a heart surgeon. I still am a heart surgeon.
I didn't know that.
It's like being a Marine. You're that for your whole life.
That's what my father died of.
Your heart disease, yeah.
So when did that get handled?
Well, heart disease.
In 1968, but just a couple of years later, they had it figured out, right?
That year was the first bypass. That year, 1968.
So he'd have just lived a couple more years.
By the early 70s, we were doing bypass surgery. Yeah. And now, of course, most of it's done with stents.
When did you get, I don't know if people know this about you, when did you get your first big break in TV?
I started, the way you get a break in television is you answer the phone.
You what?
You answer the phone.
Answer the phone.
Yeah, like ABC News calls up and says, you want to come on Good Morning America tomorrow? And you say, all right, I'll change my calendar. I'll be there. What time? Right? A lot of people just don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
So I started I was at Columbia.
You answered the phone.
Columbia Presbyterian is in New York City. It's the media mecca of the country. And so when people would call me to come down and do national news programs about what breaking news was happening, about some new medication.
What was it at the time? Do you remember?
Well, the big break happened because I was a little unorthodox. We were doing mechanical heart procedures. I'd invented the devices to fix heart valves from outside the body without having to do surgery, which could help a lot of people really sick. But I also thought, hey, in order to help my patients get better faster, to make them better partners to me, I'm going to give them alternative medicine. I'm going to teach them meditation and put music in their ears in the operating room so I can get them to think positive thoughts. I'm going to play music for them when they're in recovery. I'm going to teach them how to take deep breaths, how to walk better, get them, do the things that we should be doing to get people, teach them about vitamins and herbs and things that might be beneficial. And that was of interest because historically, we often would treat people like chattel, like they're not part of the system. But heart surgery is a competition. Right. We're like a pro-am tournament. I'm the pro, you're the amateur, but we got to play together. And so we began getting a lot of press coverage because of all the things that were unorthodox that we were doing. And we built a big complementary medicine center at Columbia. I ran the Heart Institute, and that is how I was doing a lot of things to help women deal with heart disease. I met Oprah.
Yeah.
I became a doctor for the Oprah show. And then together we launched my show in 2009. And I love making the program because you go into people's living rooms. See, daytime television, the president knows this because he was on primetime TV.
Yeah.
You know, if you're making movies, you're a movie star.
Yeah.
If you're making daytime TV every single day, you're living with people in their homes.
Yeah.
You're not
today's Instagram.
Today's Instagram. You're not some, aloof celebrity. You're like family to them. Every community historically has had a doctor in it. And many people don't have a doctor in their family or in their community that they can talk to. So I was that person.
Yeah. And then when did Trump reach out to you first?
Well, I knew the president from before because he was in New York. But during the 2016 election, there was a heated moment where there was a debate about whether the candidates were healthy.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I had approached both candidates. And I said, well, we're the top show talking about this stuff. If you want to come talk about it, I'll open my platform. Got millions of viewers. Come show your medical records. Talk about this in a way that you desire. And I'll just be the doctor auditing what you're showing me. Clinton, the candidate, Hillary Clinton, was secretary at the time, got sick and dropped out.
Of the interview.
But President Trump had already agreed.
She got sick.
Remember, she said she'd gotten sick that week, and so
was that when she was passing out on the way to the car?
Yes, in the bus
in New York.
In New York,
yeah.
And President Trump said,
"I'll be there."
God bless him. He's, I'm game. I'm taking it on.
Let's go.
Let's go one-on-one.
He knows the.
So he came. He defended himself. He pulled his medical records out. They were in his, in his pocket. He said,
"Did he say he was in the best shape of any person in America?"
He said all kinds of fun things.
I love that.
Gave me the records, right? I couldn't believe it. I had them. I started reading through it. I mentioned all the things it showed. His testosterone levels through the roof. Yes, exactly. I think he's a
freak of nature.
He really is. He just keeps going, and
he can eat. He pretty much eats what he wants, drinks what he wants.
Well, I asked him about that, and in fairness, he said, "Listen, I eat the food that you might think of as junk food because it's safe. Because if I'm on the road and I go to a fast food stand that's national chain, they have standards for serving their food, so I'm not going to get food poisoning. It's not that I want to have a hamburger, but yeah, he has fun.
Yeah,
we were joking about this the other day. So I was with Secretary Kennedy and him, and Secretary Kennedy had that photo on the plane coming back
with the hamburger,
and so it looked like a hostage photo.
Yeah.
Secretaries like this, he just don't know what to do. But that he does that to make. But at his very core, he is thoughtful about putting the right stuff in his life. The fans are all back.
They're loving this.
They're banging down the doors to get in here to hear more.
This is awesome. So we're going to continue this conversation, okay?
I want you to help us with MAHA.
No.
I want
you
your
got
insights.
my commitment. Yeah.
I want others out there who hear your voice, watch you all the time, your fan base, to realize that we have to fight for the health of America every single day.
Yeah.
There's no finish line.
Yeah.
We're going to be curious.
And what we do here can get transported, exported around the world too.
10x.
Yeah, 10x. I love the 10x thing. Okay, we're going to do it. Okay, we're going to do this again. I love this because you guys need to know about the successes we're having, about making this country the healthiest country on the planet. We should be one of those 7 blue zones.
Yeah.
Is there 7?
There's not 7, but there could be. But we have.
What's it called? A blue zone?
Blue zone, but the classic ones are Okinawa, which is Japan, Sardinia, which is part of Italy, and Costa Rica. Loma Linda maybe is one in their country. But to be a blue zone is really critical. You have every tool already in your home.
Yeah.
The most important one is this one. That's why you're critical, because your life is been about this.
Let's fix this. Let's fix this. Let's fix your bank account. We'll get all 3 done, okay, whether you're American or wherever you're from. Appreciate you, man.
God bless.
Appreciate your commitment. Thank you.